because they weren't part of, as far as I knew, any regular North Vietnamese unit. They were civilians that supposedly assisted us. But as the captain told me, the one captain, when I tried to get him to go out with me to track the guy, he's signaling from here, the rounds aren't going to hit here. So that put an end to that for a while, until I spoke to the colonel. But yeah, there were situations where some of the people who were helping you weren't necessarily your friends.
That was at night.
At night.
Is that the way, their pattern that they were?
Yeah. When things got quiet, it was before the wide distribution of night vision. We had the starlight scope, which was some classified thing, and you looked through that, and it was, you know, in limited exposure to the troops. Most guys had no idea about it. And then, you know, looking at these this green screen, and you know, the people walking around in it. But pilots didn't fly too much at night in helicopters, at least not low level like I did. A little bit too dangerous. You know, you flew at night, but you had altitude. But generally, the people that I ran into who were friendly during the day, yes, they were problems at night.
So there was there continuous situations like this while you were there?
We had instances where intel indicated that they were transmitting within the perimeter and just outside of the perimeter of our camp. But never did catch that that guy who was doing that. But I dropped a gas on the house that they thought it was one time when we were flying in. Marked the place, and no more transmissions.
So this all occurred during this 10 months that you
Yes.
were in here. And is there anything else you would like to talk about in that situation?
Well, I discovered in 1975, a friend of mine came back. He had been over there since 1963, and he came back and visited me at my mom's house, and we were sitting around talking, and he was in Bamituit when I was there, and I found that out when he asked me about the hunting lodge when it burned down. I said, yeah, I remember, because I flew over just as the fire was starting, and I was coming in, and I said, by the time I left, landed, and returned from the 155 helicopter company down to our team, B team there, it was just gone. It was a hunting lodge where Teddy Roosevelt had went and hunted. From there, it was like a log building, had a lot of history in it. But when we were sitting there talking, I said, Amos, you were there? I said, I was there. And one time when I was out and I came across a unit, I thought it was going to be just a good shoot, and it turns out that it was one of his Inditch units that were walking around with these NVA fatigues. So somehow, I don't recall exactly, but just as I was getting ready to have everyone open fire, someone saw something and says, I think they're on our side. And that stopped that. But then later on, like I said, in '75, when he escaped with the last of the load in Saigon, discovered that that was one of his units. And, it was trying to recall that was because that was at the time. That was when the siege, the big siege, were going on, and they were setting up for the big siege in Buprang, so that would have been in the fall of '69, and it was at rainy season, just starting of the rainy season, and so it wasn't unusual for me to get some read that there were people out there, but I didn't know it was him, and those guys from Langley didn't always give us the information. It was more or less one way. We gave it to them, and they didn't give too much back to us. But that was a time when there was a lot of motion, and then right after I left, they invaded Cambodia, and that was the area where they went in there. That was part of the area where I had been doing the recon, tracking those guys. They had set up a nice little base area over there, and that was kind of weird to sit and watch television. And I told my brother, I said, I did the recon on that. And it was strange to have been there just a week or two before, and to sit back and see something going on in that particular area. That was.
Did you then you left the area then, and were you assigned someplace else, or?
After I left there, I was assigned to a jungle training center down in Fort Stewart, and I got the orders changed. I went back to Fort Bragg, and then after I ETS'd out of Fort Bragg, I was there for a couple of months. Now,
did you flew back from Vietnam?
Yes, I flew back.
All your transit, whenever you changed the station, you flew back.
Yes.
Outside of the country.
Yeah, I flew back out of. Like I said, I have trouble recalling a lot of names and stuff, but it was it was a big in-country R&R area. I can't remember the name of the place.
Oh, at this time you had R&R?
They had in-country R&R. This place was on the beach.
You mean in Vietnam?
In Vietnam.
Oh.
Yeah. In fact, I think they only had one attack on it, and that was in 1969. They dropped some rockets on it, and that was the first, I think the last time, because my understanding is that the NVA used it for an R&R area as well. So it was.
How long would you be assigned to R&R?
My R&R was 2 weeks. That was out of country. The in-country, I believe, was a 5-day R&R. I didn't take one of those.
And then you came back to the States?
Yes. When I was there, I had considered re-enlisting, but we were going to take another second R&R, and I was going to go with a couple of guys from the team. We were going to hit either Japan or Australia. We didn't know exactly what. Then I got my Richard Nixon gift, and I got a 2-week drop.
Oh.
And so I came out of Vietnam 2 weeks ahead of time.
Oh.
Because it was a joke, and I started, the day I got there, I started telling people, oh, I'm going to get early out of Vietnam. I'm going to get early out. And everybody looked at me like I was crazy, and then bam, there it comes
And it
out.
happened.
It happened.
Coincidence.
Coincidence.